On this episode, we discuss a candid letter written about the misuse of dicamba by Jean Payne, the president of the Illinois Fertilizer and Chemical Association. It's a very powerful letter, so listen close. The comment period for approval on Alite 27 herbicide has begun. Alite 27 is intended to be used with the LibertyLink GT27 soybeans as a pre-emerge herbicide that has reactivation technology. Duracade, Syngenta's rootworm trait for corn, has been approved. MS Technologies has data showing Merschman Enlist E3 varieties going head-to-head against Enlist varieties and winning by substantial bushels. The yield is there. Make sure you click subscribe on our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the latest Cup of Joe episodes.
Hi, this is Joe Merschman. Welcome to Cup of Joe, Season 2, Episode number 8. Well, a lot of things happened this week, so we're really excited to bring it to you this week. A lot of changes, a lot of updates, so let's start with Tommy.
Joe, I wanted to share, we had a letter that was given out September 13th of 2019 from Jean Payne, the IFCA president from Illinois.
It's the Illinois Fertilizer and Chemical Association, correct?
Yes, sir. So she kind of breaks down with the issues that their misuse applications of dicamba, and she has a very good chart, and we'll post that, and it's right here. But it starts in 1989, and it comes to the current year of 2019, and it shows how all the misuse complaints were down below 100, all the way from 1989 all the way to 2016.
So statewide, they never had more than 100 application complaints from the custom applicators or from farmers who were applying herbicides.
Absolutely, and I would nothing more than 150, which is a good average. It looks like 100 was the average throughout from 1989 to 2016. In spring of 2017, we had Xtend soybeans introduced for commercial use and to agriculture.
So dicamba application started.
Absolutely. So 2017, the misuse complaints went up to 430. In 2018, the misuse complaints went up to 546, and in 2019, as of right now, we're up to 865. So she makes a good point here. I would like to say it says that it's not that, okay, since 1989, Illinois commercial applicators have managed new products in challenging weather and field conditions and have done so with less than 100 complaints a year where misuse was alleged. There is no way that these same people, who now have the highest level of training and certification that exists for pesticide application, are responsible for this dramatic increase in pesticide misuse complaints attributed to dicamba. So essentially she's saying that it wasn't in 2016 that everybody forgot how to apply pesticide and herbicide. So I think what we really need to look at here is kind of the wool that's being pulled over everybody's eyes with this dicamba system. And I understand it may be over more acres. That's why maybe some more of these complaints are less and less every year. But what she's really sticking up for is she's saying we're not going to put our applicators in a position where they are to blame due to a faulty product. And, Xtend has its place in the market. It definitely has a lot of off-target movement. I think there's no secret behind any of that. And the IFCA is standing up and saying that we're not dealing with this anymore. There are other products out there you shouldn't be worried about or scared into a system that you think that you need to plant to protect yourself. We're not going to put our applicators in a position where they're going to get in trouble, and the company that is licensing or the company that's moving forward with a product that has off-target movement is not sticking by its claims. So they're not putting up with it.
It appears that the Illinois Fertilizer and Chemical Association has taken a strong stance to protect the applicators, and by doing that, they're asking for these label changes to get it right. And sounds like Jean he said, let's put the politics aside, let's get this thing right. So I think Illinois is going to have an early cutoff date for spraying dicamba. It appears they're headed that way.
Well, the thing is, Joe, every applicator has to go through extensive hours of training to use this product, and they've done everything they were told to do, everything they were trained to do, and it still doesn't work. So whose fault is that? Yeah, and that's what she's saying.
Flawed technology
exactly
is what
right.
It is, and I think everybody's figuring it out. So obviously it opens the door for farmers to take a look at the two new traits from Merschman Seeds and Enlist E3 and LibertyLink GT27, which offer less complexity and less risk to the applicator and better weed control for the farmer.
With
And lower cost.
And lower cost.
with comparable or better yield. I mean, that's another thing too. It's not the dominant product out there.
Well, they just announced this week, BSF did, that the price of branded Liberty's going down. So, I'm calling it the year of the farmer. There's so much competition coming in the marketplace. It's going to create downward pressure on prices when farmers need a break.
Yep, we need to break. Who was that letter to, Tommy? Was that letter just to the membership in general, or was that sent to EPA, or
It was posted on their website.
just posted on the website? Okay.
I think it was just them setting their stance.
Just making a public comment.
And the IFCA, they work pretty close with their legislators, with all the EPA, and it is on everybody's front line of the radar, from Illinois, Missouri to Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, where all these issues are happening, Iowa, Nebraska. They're not putting up with it anymore because applicators are hard to come by anymore. And if you keep putting them in this position, you're not going to have anybody in your fields to take care of this situation. So, I know, I was talking to a grower earlier this week. He's got a brand new sprayer in his shed that he doesn't want to use because he had an Xtend system. He doesn't want to put that liability on his shoulders. Well, he can't find an applicator in the county that will do that either.
Right.
So if it doesn't work, no one's going to spray it. I'm going to go to a different product. That's where we're going to be going at in the future.
It's not just the applicators that are concerned. It's the farmers in the field are all
Absolutely.
concerned as well too. And
People are tired of being bullied.
Well, it's a good reference, and we'll have that up on our basically on this Cup of Joe episode, so you can look and read the entire thing and make draw your own conclusions and draw your own opinion. But I think it's a great good article that kind of talks about the facts and the reality of today's application of dicamba and some of the issues that are surrounding it.
Well, it's who do we work for, Joe?
That's right. We work for the farmer, and I think that makes our company very unique in that we don't work for big chemical companies. We work for the farmer. In other words, our innovation that we bring to the table, we believe will help the farmer in his bottom line, because
Absolutely.
the only way that we will survive is if the farmer makes a profit. And we're not working for Wall Street. It's a different year this year. Turk, what'd you notice this week?
Well, one of the big things that was announced this week is BASF come out and made a public comment that the comment period is going to start for Elite 27. That is the Group 27 herbicide that can be applied to GT27 soybeans. So that comment period is going to start, and looks like it's going to run for 30 days or something like that. So we encourage everybody to send in their comments to EPA, and we'll post that when we get that link. We'll post them both on our website and probably on Cup of Joe as well. But we encourage everybody to make that comment, and because we need that herbicide as well for the Group GT27 herbicides to give you to be able to have a weed-free field, and again provide more options for our customers.
Those listening that don't know what Elite 27 is, let's start with a little bit of history. What it is, how it's used with LibertyLink GT27, how we anticipate it's going to be used.
So Elite 27 is isoxaflutol. That's the active ingredient in it, and it's the same active ingredient that is in Balance herbicide for corn.
And it was going to be called Balance Bean,
But it was going to be
prior to the change of assets between Bayer and BASF.
When Bayer sold to BASF, they kept the Balance name, and so that's why it had to be changed to something different with Bayer's or BASF's acquisition of that technology and that product.
So how will Elite 27 be used on LibertyLink GT27 soybeans?
It'll be a pre-emergence to go out there and put down as a pre-emergence, and it'll help keep your fields clean. It has reach back. If you get a rain, it'll come back and kill weeds. So it's a really good product. Anybody that's familiar with Balance or Corvus or some of the other products that have Group 27 herbicides, you know how they work, and they're very good product, and they're used on a lot of acres right now. So everybody kind of knows what they'll do, and it'll be a game changer for GT27 for that pre-emergence market. It's not for post-emergence. It'll be a pre-emergence herbicide only, but it'll be a very, very good product in addition to LGT27s to start clean, stay clean, and be able to keep clean fields for you.
So you would put Elite 27 down, have 5-6 weeks of protection against some of the real driver weeds like water hemp and palmer, things like that, and then obviously a post program would be either Liberty or Liberty Roundup combination with another residual if you want to push it all the way to the end of the season.
That'll keep you. That'll have a weed-free field for the year to do that. I mean, the Liberty works really, really well for that second pass if you've got them all under control and small to start with. So
and Ben, does the Elite 27 have a little bit of a burn down effect if you put it right prior to emergence?
Yep. So when you take the Elite 27 and you mix it with a metribuzin product like Syncor or Tricor, it really heats that product up the same way that atrazine would heat up a balance style deal in a corn program, and you can actually go in and use it as a decent burn down and have that residual. So you don't necessarily have to have like a 2,4-D product or Dicamba in your burn down. This by itself, as long as the weeds aren't too tall, have the ability to clean the field up and give you 6. I think that 5 to 6 week residual is the key portion of what we're looking at.
Well, and then a reactivation with rain is pretty big.
Well, and the other thing we should talk about too is that LibertyLink GT27s is a great product to follow something in your corn program. If you have a Group 27 herbicide like Corbis or some of the other products that you would have in your corn program, we are seeing like there's a
certain level of tolerance.
Certain level of tolerance for the soybeans to make the soybeans just grow that much faster, and so with the late applications of Group 27 herbicides post in your corn, definitely want to go to LibertyLink GT27s because what 5 bushel? You say 10% potentially 10% more yield.
10% more yield following a Group 27 herbicide in your corn program. If you're planting soybean LGT27 soybeans, you can expect about a 10% yield bump by using the product LGT27s that actually have tolerance to that Group 27. And even though you won't see it, you'll never know it's there. It still always seems like there's something going on. And we see it almost every time, that 10% yield bump.
So that's pretty exciting too.
It is.
Right. Ben? What about yield?
We're starting to see yields come in from our southern territories, and even some of our earlier planted beans for seed production and whatnot are probably going to start getting cut over the weekend if we don't catch a shot of rain. So Stein's 9814 was topping some plots down in Kentucky. They're looking at 260 bushel corn down there, possibly 10 to 15 bushel above the rest of the plot. So that's really, really exciting.
It's a good product.
We like to see, those numbers start rolling in. We're seeing early beans in the 3.6 range that were planted in April, extremely high yielding beans, 90 plus. We're getting photoshops or pictures of yield monitors and whatnot.
These were LibertyLink GT27s?
Correct, Garfields to be exact. So our 3.6s down in the Boot Hill or in southern Illinois, we're yielding extremely well. So we're really, really happy to see excited customers. And if you're combining your beans and you're really excited, I'm sure take those pictures of your yield monitors and send them into Joe, because we always love seeing the high yields.
Helps us get up a little bit earlier every day when we see that what we're doing is really paying off for the farmer and their profitability.
Correct. So another thing on the list here, I wanted to touch on Duracade just a moment. It's our stance, and I think it's
Duracade is the Syngenta rootworm trait.
Correct.
For corn.
Yep. There's been a little bit of confusion on things with the Duracade deal, but it's Stein's stance and our stance and pretty much the entire industry's stance that we won't have to be dealing with a channeling agreement. We're good to go. If corn rootworm is something that concerns you and you need to be worried about it, we can go ahead and run with this Duracade product to protect yourself. And we got a good 6 or 7 numbers in our lineup from 105 day all the way through that perform really well and have that Duracade trait in it. So
corn on corn is where you would definitely want to use a Duracade type product, and Duracade is one of the most effective rootworm control products on the market right now.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's superior to the the Smart Stack system from what I've seen as far as effectiveness, because as you keep using these same traits over and over again, the effectiveness starts slowing, wearing out or whatever. I don't know exactly what the correct word is.
Resistance builds up.
So Duracade is relatively brand new. They haven't seen that protein, and it has some very positive things.
Correct. Yep.
I was on the National Corn Growers website, and they have the Know Before You Grow list of stuff that's approved, and they did have Duracade 5222 listed as approved and ready to go. So they're endorsing it too, that it's good.
Correct. Good. So we're excited about that. We're seeing a lot of disease show up, whether it be in northern Iowa, northeast Iowa, northwest Iowa, central Illinois. Even on some of our later planted beans down here, we're starting to see sudden death, brown stem rot show up in certain areas. And the comment's been made by a lot of smart agronomists and breeders and stuff that it seems so late for these diseases to be showing up. We usually deal and talk about these diseases in August, but I think it has to do with the amount of rain that we've gotten and the amount of heat that continues to come. We're still running in the mid 80s. Sometimes we're in the early 90s. And I think that all has to do with the respiration, and the plants are continuing to grow and they're still putting pods on. But so get out there and look at your beans, make sure that you're in these wetter conditions. We're just dealing with a cesspool of fungi right now that are going to continue to grow. So get out there, check things out.
What I'm seeing as I drive around is, you're seeing these darker yellow areas where the water stood is where sudden death's really showing up. So, I'm sure they didn't have Ilevo on them last spring, help protect them. But yeah, it seems like everything's coming in 30 days late, and white mold, brown stem rot, sudden death.
Yep.
Definitely time to scout. Make those notes in your field, so when you make your soybean selections, you make sure you got those bases covered 2 years from now when you go back to those fields if you're in a corn-soybean rotation.
Correct. Joe, speaking of soybean products, what do you have for data for us there?
Well, this is the biggest thing, and in fact, a lot of our radio ads are going to switch up to really talking about the yield issue, but I thought, and we're going to post this as a link that you can look at, or in fact in the video. Let me give you 3 examples of how Enlist E3 soybeans yield versus Xtend. Mohegan 2023 is an Enlist soybean, 86% win ratio, 5.6 bushel advantage over all Xtend checks that we ran against last year. Osage 2025E, which is an Enlist product, and this particular product also has the Peking source of cyst nematode resistance, 91% win ratio, 4.5 bushel yield advantage over all Xtend checks in research last year. Wow. Denver 2042E, which is not only stacked with glyphosate and the new choline 2,4-D, but also STS, so it's got 4 herbicide traits. 78% win ratio, 5.2 bushel yield advantage over Xtend checks. And so look for this and check it out. Just a good sampling of when we say the products yield, and we got 51 years of experience of breeding soybeans behind the genetics that we're selling our customers, both in Enlist E3 and LibertyLink GT27s. The yields there is what we're saying. So pay close attention to that. And one last thing that I have is, obviously we have chosen Saltro as our product that we're going to market for controlling sudden death syndrome and nematodes. And also I'm going to show you this Ilevo Ad just to show you in my opinion, the hypocrisy of talking about something that is negative and spinning it to a positive. And that is, says soybean growers rely on the only proven winner against STS and nematodes. That headline's true. Ilevo's been doing a great job for the last 5 years, but there's a new kid on the block that's going to challenge it. So good it even comes with a halo. Well, the halo is phytotoxicity. In other words, it's a bad thing. It's not something that's heavenly. I think they got the wrong direction. In other words, it's not something heavenly, it's maybe something a little lower. But it's just amazing how big chemical companies can take a negative and spin it into a positive and make the farmers think that this is good. The reality of it is, we sent out this week a lot of good data to our dealers and to our customers who are on our email list about Saltro, so they can check it out for themselves. So
It's a real deal. It's a good product.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, we'll wrap this episode up. We'll see you next week. Again, thank you for your business. We'll see you next week.